Hi, welcome or welcome back to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Mariandrea and I'm been on a roll. I just recorded like a double header video and then I took a little bit of a break. It's nighttime now and I just wanted to film my weekend review video before the weekend is done. It's Sunday night, so it's basically done, but just wanted to just catch up. I like doing these catch up chatty videos. And I know some people in my community really enjoy them. So I feel like I get to give you a glimpse of what's going on in my day to day and catch up on what I've been reading. So I usually start these out with highs and lows. So the high for me of the week, the last week, was Saturday, yesterday. I got to kick off like summer. It's unofficially summer here in Texas and the United States. Usually the unofficial kickoff to summer is Memorial Day weekend, which is last weekend. So I know it's summer when it's triple digit heat and the heat is on you and it's the kind of heat that you feel like you can just lay in a hammock in the shade and just let it wash over you, like let yourself be baked by the heat. So I got to do that. I got to lay in my hammock with a topo chico preparado yesterday and did some reading, and that was really relaxing. I enjoy my hammock time so much, and I get the bulk of that in the summer in South Texas. The lows. Well, yeah, I get the hammock time, but the heat has been like 99 today. I think it was triple digits on Friday. And I think yesterday as well. So we're like high 90s, low 100s Fahrenheit. And yeah, not a lot of people at the parks or like really kind of everybody tends to like spend more time indoors. Um, so it's kind of a low when you're having to spend more time indoors than outdoors. Yeah, you want to go for walks, but it's just too hot to go on a walk. So that's kind of a low where you wish you could spend some time outdoors and you think about it twice. So you either spend some time outdoors early in the morning or late in the evening when the sun has gone down. So we're in that season right now. We'll be here for a while. Um, Community posts. I haven't posted anything like a community post, but I did just shoot out an impromptu video. I did a book review after I read a book that I'll be talking about in just a little bit. But if you watched the video, I hope you enjoyed a very off the cuff kind of book review. I didn't prepare for it. I just kind of went with it. I didn't do any tags until today. Like earlier, just a few hours ago, I recorded like a double header video in which the first half of the video is the second time around book tag, which was created by Julie at Bookish Travels 1, and I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. So I did that first, and then I transitioned the video into like a big book summer TBR / pile of possibilities. Books that I read in the last week. So since we last spoke, I finished Death of a Salesman, which I'd started at the beginning of the month, and I started it, didn't finish it. I just finished it on Friday. I finished, and I don't have Death of a Salesman with me, so I can't show you. I finished Night at the Fiestas. This was the book club selection for my booktube channel, Books and Bocadillos, the book club. And we read this for the month of May, and I finished it yesterday. So it took me all month to read all of these stories, but I was really pleased. I loved all of the stories so much. I ended up giving them superlatives, so um, you can follow along in the Discord, and I gave each story an award. Um, I saw Melinda talk about her wrap up of this book, and so um, she gave a trigger warning for something terrible that happens to an animal. Um, so that is there. There's also just a lot of um, mention of violence. Body horror is tends to be pretty like through all of these stories are slightly horrific or very horrific, but like have that slight horror um, element. So I wouldn't say that this is all like a horror. Like it's not super strong in horror, but if you enjoy a little bit of horror and maybe not like you still want to be able to sleep, but you want to be horrified, I think that this is a great collection. So they all have that element of like, ugh, like, OMG, what is happening? Some tend to be a bit more gruesome than others. So, yeah, this is for people who say they like light horror. So, this, you get some light horror in these stories. Um, there's one in here that is titled The Five Wounds. And The Five Wounds was was made into a novel, was developed into a full-length novel, and I really would like to read that at some point. If I could, I would probably just want to jump right into it. I really want to jump right into it after reading the short story, but I wanted to finish the collection first. So, yeah, this is Night at the Fiestas, stories by Kirstin Valdez Quade. I'm gonna try to do a review of all the books that I've read for the book club. And so I will be talking more about this at a later date. And I listened to the audiobook for Hot Mother by Nancy Peach. This was a book that was recommended to me last year by my friend Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club. She talked about it on her channel and recommended it to me directly, either in the video or in the comments. I want to say initially it was in the comments. And she then made a tag video earlier in the year and she gave me some book recommendations. And Hot Mother was one that she had mentioned. She had recommended to me before, and she wanted to add Mother of All Problems by Nancy Peach to those book recommendations. So, all in all, it was a good recommendation. I did enjoy it. I think I rated it not five, 4 stars. And it was entertaining. I am glad I read it. It's a book about being in the sandwich generation where you're going through midlife and you're taking care of children. It's about motherhood. So it's about a mother and coping with her children growing up and starting to leave the nest, so to speak, become young adults and on their own. And then she's also dealing with her aging mother and that dynamic. So this book is really in conversation with the book Sandwich by Catherine Newman. I had to check my phone for it. I think that would be a really good book to read alongside Hot Mother. I also think that thought I had it around here. I've talked about this book before. It's a graphic memoir by Ross Chast, and it's called Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant? I had it on my shelf here, and I'm not seeing it anymore. I might have moved it around. But Can't We Talk About Something More Pleasant? The graphic memoir has a lot of the same themes that Nancy Peach writes about in her novel Hot Mother. So if you're interested in just middle-aged women and discussions about motherhood and aging parents and being caught in the sandwich generation, those are two other books that you might enjoy reading. And then the fourth book that I want to talk about that I read, I've already done a book review, so I hope I won't spend too much time with it, but it was Too Soon for Adiós by Annette, Chávez, Macias. I am so excited that I loved this book. This was a 5-star read for me. I was so surprised. I was not expecting to love it. I was not expecting it to be a 5-star read. Because it's such an under the radar kind of a book. Like, there aren't a lot of people reading or raving about it. And sometimes you think, like, if a book doesn't have the buzz, then it must not be great. Like, sometimes things just kind of go under the radar and you totally miss out on something really exciting. I really enjoyed Too Soon for Adios. I'm glad that I was able to read it and enjoy it. It was a book that was so fun to read. It was, I won't say it was easy. It wasn't easy because there's some difficult themes in that novel. There definitely had trigger warnings, and it was thematically a difficult read. There's a lot of tough stuff in that book, but it was really fun to read, and it was easy to love the characters and root for them. And I was really happy. Like, I was so surprised and excited when I finished it. And I'm looking forward to reading more by Annette Chávez Macias. I am currently reading The Gravekeeper by Alexandra Villasante. I just started it this day, today, June 1st. It's the June pick for the Books and Bocadillos book club. It's a YA science fiction. I think it's the winner of the Lambda Award, and it is has LGBTQ representation. So it's one of the books that I'm excited to read for Pride Month, and it's also a YA book, and I love YA. I tend to really enjoy reading more YA in the summer than in the rest of the year. So I feel in a way it's kind of my kickoff to my YA summer reading. I'm also currently rereading Blackwater Sister by Zencho. I read this book a couple of years back, maybe a few more years back, like 3 or 4 years ago, and I read it for a book club, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know why, I just kind of felt like I want to reread this book. So I picked it up. It's about a Malaysian family, and it has a complicated grandmother. I think I'm going to do a video in which I talk about complicated grandmothers. But a complicated grandmother is something that I tend to really enjoy. I have other books in mind that have this complicated grandmother dynamic. So I am going to probably try to do a video about complicated grandmothers. I am also still reading The Art of Racing in the Rain by Garth Stein. And I am starting or about to start The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, and this is a group read that I'm reading with Melinda at Web Stories and other friends on Boxer. And I'm also reading this for Summer of Steinbeck. And I'm going to be starting this week. I haven't yet started, but I'm reading Detransition Baby by Torrey Peters. This is for Melinda's book club that she does online, and I am going to be reading that with them. I haven't DNF'd any books so far, and in terms of community activities or community projects here on BookTube, I am reading for Summer of Steinbeck and the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge with Sue Jackson and Melinda from A Web of Stories. I'm also going to try to fit in some, or kind of like double up some reading for Historical Fiction Summer. And some of these books are going to double up. So or maybe meet 3 different categories. So like The Streets of Laredo by Larry McMurtry is going to be my June on the Range pick, and it also fits Big Book Summer. and it also fits historical fiction. I'm reading some of the plays that Angelia and other friends at Angelia's Discord channel, Endless Drama, are reading. I'm really behind, and so I'm catching up. So I'm still behind, but hopefully I'll continue to just be on the heels of what this group is reading. And that's about it, I think, for current events happening right now, starting this month. I think that there's other projects on the horizon, but for now, I'm going to leave it at that. And for podcast, last week I forgot to recommend a podcast, and I uploaded the video to YouTube, and then I thought I didn't talk about a podcast. And a podcast that I listened to a couple of weeks back that I really enjoyed is from Latino USA, and it's I think it was titled something like "How a Faja Saved My Life," and it was the real life story of this Dominican woman living in New York, and her life is saved by her faja, her kind of like a girdle of sorts. She just had a baby, and she was wearing this faja that women tend to wear after they've had a baby, and she was shot at, and she survived, and the faja had something to do with her survival, and thought it was a really compelling story. And I think Hinojosa is the host of Latino USA. I think she's a beautiful storyteller, a great interviewer, and she has this amazing talent to draw out such raw human emotions and share compelling narratives. I find that every time I listen to Latino USA, but this one particular story just really tugged at my heartstrings, and I felt like I knew this woman. It was just such an interesting story, and my heart went out to her. So I was so compelled by her that I thought I want to share this podcast. And I was telling my mom about it yesterday. Wanted to talk about it here. So you can check out Latino USA if you're interested. And in terms of food, I don't necessarily have a recipe, like one recipe to share, but I want to talk about quesadillas. I think there's no better food than quesadillas. Like, seriously. A warm tortilla filled with warm melted cheese, and then you can pretty much put anything in it. I just had quesadillas for dinner, and funny that before I started making the quesadillas, I was already planning on making them, and a friend texted me and said, "Look what I made for dinner," and she made quesadillas. It's like, oh, that's so funny. I'm also making quesadillas, and she was talking about making them with zucchini flour, like floral, like the flower of the zucchini, and some zucchini bits, and I made mine with Mexican cheese and tomato and spinach and peppers, and it was so good. So yeah, and served with a little bit of smashed avocado. So yeah, I don't think that there's anything better than a quesadilla. Super comforting. It's really easy. A quick fix for like you are just needing a quick meal, and it's filling and it's delicious, especially if you put salsa. Like a really, I love spice, so I put a little bit of habanero. I put like raw chili peppers, and then I added habanero, and it was perfectly spiced. But you can make quesadillas to your liking. You could put like potatoes in them, with a more like mild tomato sauce. You could put zucchini, like my friend did, or any, like, so many fillings. There's so many possibilities for quesadillas. Yeah, it's possibilities are basically it's just melted cheese with raw or roasted veggies, um, I'm not a meat eater, I'm vegan, so some people will put a meat, or if you're vegan, a meat substitute like a jackfruit, cooked jackfruit, or hibiscus flower that are like seasoned like meat, um, maybe even like a tofu, like a scrambled tofu with like the melted cheese that might taste like very breakfasty, but probably really delicious. I've also done quesadillas with like hummus. Um, that's really, really tasty. Yeah, so many possibilities. There seriously is nothing better than a quesadilla. So I hope I have shared something inspiring today, and I wish you all the best in whatever you're reading or eating. And until we speak again, hasta la próxima.